Welcome to Vialet Studio, where Vialet and her guests share stories of their passions, inspirations, and spiritual journeys. Vialet creates a sacred and fun space for individuals to be able to share information about themselves, their work, and their community. We are so happy you have joined us today. Let's get started with your host, the magical creator of Discover Your Spiritual Gifts, Vialet. Vialet Rain.
So thank you for joining us for Vialet Studio. My voice keeps going. So we're going to hope that it holds for us today. I am so excited to have as our guest today, Trina Schneider. She's one of our readers at Discover Your Spiritual Gifts, and we're so lucky to have her be part of the team. Then I wanted to interview her today and find out more about her story and be able to share it with you. So welcome, Trina.
Thank you. I feel so blessed to be here with you today. And I'm so excited to be a reader at the center. You provide such a beautiful, safe, sacred space for us to do our readings there at your beautiful center. And I just love it. I love you.
Aw, well, we love you back. So thank you so much. So what I wanted to do today was really talk about your spiritual journey, what got you to what you do today, because I know you've been a hairstylist for years and now you're turning a corner on a new journey. So talk to us a little bit about your spiritual journey. What guided you down this path?
Well, when I was a little girl, I could see spirits and angels, and I would talk to them and play with them. And one day somebody told me, oh, that's just your imagination. That's just your imaginary friends. You don't see that. And I was raised Catholic. So of course, any of that stuff was like, nope. So I kind of shut it down. And then when I was around 12, 13, I started showing symptoms of depression, anxiety, and I would just pray to the angels to help me. And I did have a suicide attempt when I was 13, but something told me that, nope, you're supposed to be here. You have great things to do. And so I kind of kept spirit kind of in the back, through my teenage years, through everything. And with the depression, I started taking antidepressants when I was 19 years old. And that really shut everything down. Probably about 2018, I quit taking the antidepressants, but let me go back. So really the spiritual journey started with essential oils, because I was always looking for different ways to help with my anxiety and depression. And there was something to that. I learned to do like a healing touch massage with the essential oils, and I would use the oils on myself. And then I learned the healing touch to do for others. And then I do incorporate into my healings now a little bit of that. And of course, now the name is going to escape me what it is with the oils, but there's different protocols that I use for different things, for different healings. So that really got me started. And then I started looking more into it. I have a daughter, she's 22 now. She's very much psychic, and so having her kind of question everything that I was doing as far as like going to church and do some of the things that we practiced and some of the things that I taught her. I was a catechism teacher for a few years, and that always didn't feel, some of it felt really good, but some of it felt off. It just didn't feel right. And she really questioned everything I was doing, and like, Mom, why don't you see that, you have answers inside of yourself? Why are you always looking outside of yourself for answers? So I kind of put that in my back pocket. And my sister is very spiritual, and she does like sound baths and things like that as well. And she's a healer. But of course, being so Catholic and just in it, I was kind of always like, oh, I don't know about that. There was a time when my daughter was 13 and she wanted to take her to see a psychic. And I was so freaked out because I didn't know who the person was or what they were going to tell my child. And so I got all upset. And now looking back, I'm like, well, that was kind of silly. But, you know, we don't know what we don't know. And to that point, I feel like now the more that I learn, the more I know that I need to learn more, and delve in a little deeper. So I started attending sound baths with my sister and my daughter. And what really kind of sparked me, we went to the Golden Rock Shop here in Colorado. And there was this guy, Atana Badaldi, I think his name is. And he did a sound bath and a healing. And I was like, wow, this guy is cool. I want to follow him and his teaching. So I read some of his books and listened to some of his music. And that kind of got me out of my head, and kind of taking a look at things that way. Then I started doing yoga. And that's what really helped me connect with my mind, body, spirit, was the yoga. And I did private one-on-one lessons with Missy O'Donovan, and it just opened up a whole new world for me. And I started seeing the spirits again. The angels came back. Everybody came back, and they were really guiding me. And as I would lay there at the inn in yoga, I was getting all these downloads and all these messages. And at that point, they were kind of pushing me away from doing hair. And I was like, well, no, I love doing hair. I love taking care of people. And people have always said, you know, being in my presence, it can be very calming. I'm a healer. I was born to be a healer. And I thought that's, you know, what I would do. I'd been doing hair for 30 years. But as I started doing yoga more and kind of going to getting more healings and sound baths and going to seek advice from other psychics, things really started coming in. I had met a lady up in Boulder who has as Patricia B. She does a women's networking event where she brings in it's like fashion and stuff, but she does this whole event. And so somehow I ended up being a model for her and modeling her clothes. And so I was really trying to promote my hair business, and I was selling my shampoo and, you know, trying to do, but I didn't really get clients from that. And I kept questioning, like, why am I here? Why am I doing this? Other than it was fun, because something I loved as a young girl was to play dress up. I love to play dress up and pretend I was somebody I wasn't. And this really brought that in, because I'm not a big hair makeup person, but it was fun to go on those Sundays and do those modeling events and wear fancy clothes and put on makeup. But it didn't feel quite right. And so I'm questioning, what am I supposed to be doing? What is it I'm supposed to be doing? Well, one of the events, one of the guests was Vanessa Tavernetti. And Vanessa has a healing practice. She's a psychic as well. Her business is called Earth Magic Academy. And so I became friends with her, and we went to lunch one day, and we were talking about all the things that we believed in. And I was like, yeah, that just felt really good. Well, she offered this women's self-mastery program. And it was a year, or I don't know how long the program was, doesn't matter. But it was a program where she taught us to meditate, how to set psychic tools for protection. We went out in nature and collected herbs, and she taught us about the herbs and how to make teas and different ways to eat, and bringing in the Ayurvedic eating. And so I was like, wow, this is really cool. And I did it really for myself. I was trying to heal myself, because, you know, that depression was still really coming in and really just trying to get me. But at that point, I started to wean myself off the medications because the side effects were just awful. But as I got out of my brain and more into my third eye, I started to see where some of those issues came from. So I completed the Women's Mastery Program, and she offered an Into You intuitive program. And again, I did all of this just so I could heal myself, maybe help my mom, just my family, my kids. And so that was my purpose at that point, I thought, just to heal myself. And she had us write affirmations and intentions. And it's funny to go back and read some of those things now. And just see where I am at, now as to where I was when I started. It was like, wow, I did this for myself, but it's really turned into helping others heal. So she offered the women's, or it wasn't a women's, it's a Into You intuitive program, and it was all through Zoom. And so, we're healing, doing cleansings and clearings, more meditation, learning more tools. And then we started doing readings on each other. And it just came supernatural and super fast. And the messages and the things that I was sharing with the other women in the program, everybody was just blown away. I was blown away. And I still have little trust issues with myself. And I think that's all the old programming that I'm still working on. It's I think healing ourselves and kind of really stepping into our power is a lifelong journey. And it's just learning. So that's basically how it's all started. But the really great thing is that I've really been able to keep my anxiety and depression at bay by using all of these tools and without having to take the medication. So it's just been huge.
I love your journey, right? Spirit guides us with these little baby steps, right? These little baby steps of what is that? Oh, that's cool. That's really interesting. Oh, let's go try this. Oh, that's really cool. That's really interesting. I think all of us have a journey. We have a journey that we're taking on, and Spirit nudges us a little to the left or a little to the right. We try some new things, and then we're like, oh, I want to know more about that, or I want to know more about this. And it pulls us along that journey, which is just really beautiful when you go back and look at all the synchronicities, all the people that we've met, all the opportunities that we've been given to see something new in a different perspective, right?
Yes.
And I think everyone that awakens or finds their journey, unless they grew up in this life, connecting to their gifts and had a family that really encouraged it. For many of us, we had belief systems or, that prevented us from running into things, right? It was like, ooh, what about that? Like your daughter going to see a psychic. I'm not sure how I feel about that, right? And people laugh because they meet my family and they're like, oh, what was it like to grow up with Vialet as a mother? And Nikki will say, well, she told us if we read our horoscopes, we were going to go to hell, because that was our belief system, right? Was you couldn't read a horoscope. You couldn't go see a psychic. You weren't supposed to touch tarot cards. And it's funny how Spirit knocks down those walls, right? And lets us walk through a different space. And I am so excited, Trina, that you found Discover Your Spiritual Gifts. How did you find us? Do you remember?
Back in 2017, I was with, and it was between Thanksgiving and Christmas at some point, and my sister's kids were here from California visiting, and my daughter was with us, and my mom, and And they were like, we want to go to a crystal shop. And that's the other thing, is I have loved crystals since I was a little girl and played with crystals. And of course, my mom was like, well, you're going to go to hell for those, which was always confusing to me about that, because I'm like, God made these for us to use for healing. Why is this a bad thing? And I still use crystals, and I use crystals in my readings and my healings. So we went into your space, and so I think it was around 2017. And I fell in love with the space and the crystals and everything else. And so we spent a little bit of time in there, and then I don't know, you know, and then we didn't come back for a bit. And then probably, I don't know. Time is so weird right now to me, but you know, with everything going on, it's like nothing makes sense. Nothing falls into place. Doesn't matter.
Time is kind of crazy. COVID's kind of messed up our time clocks with lots of things, because we spent months and months inside isolated, and then we came out, and then we go back in, and then it feels like it's this rock course for a little bit, right, that we're rocking through. So time is kind of crazy right now. So I totally get that.
But I think I had popped in probably like December last year, and come in a couple times and shopped, and just loved the space, and just was very drawn to it. And you know, still spirit was like, you're not supposed to be doing hair anymore. You need, like, there's something else. And they kept, you know, telling me. So I was at the acupuncturist down the street from the center, and I said, you know, I'm gonna go to that crystal shop, which is so much more than a crystal shop. And I said, I'm gonna go in there. I'm gonna see if they're hiring. I really want to you know, get my foot in the door and go check it out. So in February, I went in and talked to the gal who was working that day, and you know, and it was Metatron that was like, hey, go in there and ask. And I think I talked to her, and she said, well, send Vialet an email. And so I emailed you, and you interviewed me, and here we are. And I love working in the retail space and being a reader there. But it was funny how they just kept pushing me back in there, because there were other places that I had in mind, but nothing felt quite right. And I've really learned to listen to spirit and listen to my intuition, because I can get inside my head. I think most of us can, and kind of talk ourselves out of things. So then I was just drawn back in, and I just feel like it feels like home. It feels like home.
And I'm glad that it feels like home, because our whole purpose was to create community and connection where people can come and connect. And it's funny when we bring staff on in the beginning, they're like, oh, I don't know anything. And I go, just hang on, keep your ears open and your eyes open. You're going to learn as you work here. You're going to learn from each other. Everybody teaches each other in the center, the staff, because some people really know crystals, and some people really know oils, and some people, you know, everybody has where they originally started, and you're going to learn while you're in the space. And that's exactly what happens, is we all listen to each other and we learn from each other. So it's really kind of an amazing journey for everyone.
It really is. And that's the thing that I love. One of the things I love most about it is the community and the people that I have met there. And you know, it's family. And it was something I have a big family, and we're not a huge family, but we're close. We have a close family. But what I was missing was that community piece, and people that really lifted me up and like encouraged me to really spin. So that has just been fantastic.
Cool. Well, and I love that. I love seeing people grow. And you came on as staff, and then all of a sudden I was like, Trina, you want to be a reader? You want to be a reader? Yes, I want to be a reader. So talk to us about your readings, what you offer in a session, and what you focus on when people come in and get readings?
Well, in my 1 hour readings, I read people through their rows. A lot of the technique that I use came from the Berkeley Psychic Institute, and Vanessa Tabernetti taught the tools. So this is in the full hour. I pull up a rose for the person. I look to see how open they are to receiving spirit message. I use the stem of the rose to look at past life information that's relevant to the life now. In that stem, I can see how long the person has been in this lifetime or in other lifetimes. And then I look at the layers of the aura through the chakras, and look at the energies moving in and out and what could be blocking this person from moving forward, or doing the things that they need to do. I find it to be very healing for people to have a reading. Interestingly enough, the more I do it, the more my spirit mediumship is coming through. I would say probably 70% of the time I have someone's loved one that has crossed over that comes in with the message. A lot of animals come, a lot of pets come in to visit, and it'll be funny because I'll ask, do you ever feel something brush up against your leg, or something come and sit next to you, and it's like, that's your little dog that was with you, and people are like, oh my gosh, I miss them, and it's like, no, that they're there with you. I mean, I think that's a big thing for a lot of people, is that confirmation that spirit, our ancestors, our guides, our angels are just right there on the other side, just waiting for us to ask for help and ask for that support. So I love being able to provide that for people, just that confirmation. And it's interesting, a lot of the messages I get for other people are a match with things that I need in my life. I hear myself saying things, and I'll be like, oh, I need that. I need to put that in my back pocket because that's something I need to do as well. So
Well, it's interesting. It's interesting as readers or seeing clients, a lot of times the people that come to us have similar experiences to us. They've had similar experiences, or they're struggling with similar things that we've struggled with in the past, or we're trying to work through today. Even as a reader, we're all human too, and we're having this experience as well. And so I find that, excuse me, a lot of our clients that come in definitely align with the messages that we're given. They're for us to hear as well on that level, right?
Yeah.
And so I really love that. And I love the readings that you give with your little worksheet, and you'll even color it in for people so they can see the colors. And it's really powerful. And we've gotten lots of amazing feedback from people that have come in and gotten readings, because we always send an email that says, hey, how was your experience? How did it go for you? And we love it when people take time to give us back feedback and share with us. And so I know you've received lots of those too, because I've saw those. And people come back and see you again, or they go home and bring a friend or a family member back to see you the same day. I've even seen that happen. So that's pretty amazing. That says a lot about you, Trina.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm happy that I can provide that. I did the other day, I had a lady come in, and her friend asked, could she come in and sit? And I said, well, that's up to your friend. It's fine with me. And so she came, and I did the reading for the friend. And then they left, and the friend came back, because I think she was a little nervous and afraid. I think, and probably like I was thinking back when my daughter wanted to take, or my sister wanted to take my daughter for a reading, you don't know what people are going to tell you. And it can be, scary. Like the unknown is scary for people. But
well, we have this image of this fortune teller behind the curtain, right? the
Right.
fortune teller that's doing this for entertainment or having fun with this, that sits behind the curtain. I'm sure all of us have, driven past that sign that says psychic here today, come in and get a reading. And we've all had that, reaction or thought that. And, we really try at Discover Your Spiritual Gifts to provide something that's very sacred, very professional. We really are there to kind of help and guide. We come from an approach that we want to empower you with tools so that you can better your life versus becoming addicted to come in and have a reading every day. We want you to step into your own power, right? And sometimes we just need confirmation. Even those of us that are psychics or intuitive, or however you want to label our gifts, everybody has gifts. But even us, we like to go see somebody because we get confirmation on what we're hearing. And we're like, okay, all right, I keep hearing that, so I know that to be true. Just because we do this work doesn't mean we don't question our own messages. Right. Or really, you want me to give up being a hairdresser? That's been my bread and butter. What are you talking about? No, we want you to go here. Are you sure?
Right.
And it takes trust. It takes surrendering to the process sometimes, and just trusting what's going to happen. And when you do that, there's many blessings in that, but we're still human, right? We still have a human process. So I love the fact that you trust and that you follow your instincts. I love having you at the center as a reader and a staff person. And I know someday you're going to have a practitioner room downstairs and you're going to be seeing clients. And I know that's where your goal is too, to be able to do your healing work and really get to see your clients.
Yes, the Angelic Reiki, I'm an Angelic Reiki master, thanks to you and your wonderful classes. It was just something that really spoke to me because I have been connected with the angels my whole life. And so that was definitely a big push for Metatron to get in there and do that. And I do some Reiki. If I'm called to do it in my readings. I mean, I have a intention prayer that I set my sacred space. Before I do my readings, I ask Spirit to bring in the most relevant and helpful information. And a lot of times they do ask me to teach tools to other people or tell people about the different classes. And so it's great to be in a space where I can refer people to some of the classes that I need. Because sometimes Spirit comes in and like, oh, these people need to be in this crystal class, or these people need to go to this cleansing and clearing, or these, so it's just a great space to be in, to be able to offer, or sometimes they come in and they say this person needs a certain crystal. And so to have a space to be able to be like, oh, okay, well, here's these crystals. If this is what Spirit suggested. If you want it, it's here. And, crystals, I say crystals because they're my favorite. Crystals, oils, tools, books, all the amazing things we have at the center.
Well, the whole idea of the center was to create what I call one stop, right? You can come in and shop. You can come in and see a practitioner or a reader. You can get a healing or a reading. Those guys can also make recommendations of stones and oils or books or things that you might need that's going to help you on your spiritual journey, including the classes and programs that we offer. So it's really kind of an awesome, and then the community that we create is we have lots of people that come in at least once a week or a couple times a week just to be in the center, to talk to people. And I've had people tell me that they love to shop with us because our staff remembers their name. If you're somebody that's in there on a regular basis, it is not odd for you to be in the store and the staff to go, "Hi, Leslie, it's so good to see you today." Or, "Hi, Lynn, how are you doing today? And people are like, how do you know these people? Well, they come in on a regular basis. So we know these folks. Hey, Courtney, how are you? Or Christina, how have you been today? Or Gina, it's good to see you today. We know these people personally because they come and hang out at our center and they shop and they take classes. Or Nikki, hey, Nikki, thanks for stopping in again today, right? So these folks are really regulars in our center. We love to get to know them and they become part of our family, literally. We see them as members of our family. I remember Lynn hadn't been in for a couple weeks, several weeks, and we hadn't seen her. And I'm like, we got to call her, make sure she's okay. And I remember how shocked she was. Discover your spiritual gifts, just called to see if I was okay. Who calls their clients or customers? Well, we do. We want to make sure you're okay. We haven't seen you in a while and you're typically in there on a regular basis. We want to know you're okay. So we really do try to create that family environment. And we're so grateful that you're part of that family with us.
I'm grateful to be a part of it.
Well,
and I'm so excited to be. I think that. I mean, from the very beginning, I think that's, you hear that out of me at least once a week.
I do, and I love that. Trina's like, I am so excited to still be here. And she's like been there quite a while now. She was even excited. Trina was even excited for Christmas this year, the holidays, because we get really into the holidays. I love the holidays. And so she hadn't been that excited about holidays in a while. So we're glad that we can bring that holiday cheer and joy into people's lives, because it's great to celebrate with family, community, and we definitely have that. So that's pretty awesome. And yeah. I feel really honored for all the classes that you take with me and participate. So thank you for doing that as well, Trina.
I want to learn all the things just so I can help people on their journeys as well. And now I'm like, oh, it just doesn't stop with, okay, I know this or whatever. I don't need anything else. It's like, oh no, I need to know more. I want to know all the things.
I want to know all the things.
It helps me be a better reader. It helps me be a better healer the more I learn. So I love the classes.
I love that. I think most of us are seekers, right? We want to know more. We know that we do not know it all. Not even I know everything. I'm learning every day. I'm gaining every day. As a seeker, you're continually on this path of learning and bringing new things in. And that's what's so great. Now, there's a positive side to our center. We offer a lot of things. The difficult side is most people don't know where to start because there is so much that we offer, right? There is so many things that you can step into. So we try to help people along their path figure out where to start, because you can't take it all in at once. You have to do it a little bit at a time, right? And we all experience that. So we just take our little steps and we keep going and learning and expanding. And that's what makes it pretty awesome.
Right. And I feel like in readings, a lot of times, I think I said this, but I'm prompted to tell people about certain things because Spirit's like, hey, they need to be doing this. So I think in getting readings, it's good to be able to guide people to what they need or what Spirit suggests for them.
Yeah, because all of us are different and we're on a different path. We're not going to go about it the same way. And that's what makes it cool, is because we're all unique. And our journey is different for each one of us. So we all love to kind of help and guide people as much as we can so they don't get overwhelmed or just feel like, oh my gosh, there's so much, I can't do this. You have to take that first step. That's what I always tell people. The critical piece is just make a decision. It can't be wrong. Just decide and move forward and then see where it goes, right? So Trina, thank you for being part of our community. Thank you for being part of my show today. I really appreciate it. Those that are watching in the Denver area, if you want to come in and check Trina out, you can definitely check the schedule on our website under the readers. We will also be providing her email information where you can contact her directly here in this video. Thank you for watching today, and I hope to see you really soon at Discover Your Spiritual Gifts.
Thank you, Violet. I so appreciate you having me today.
Thank you. Have a great day, hon.
Thank you for joining us. To find out more about Vialet and how she can help you discover your spiritual gifts, head over to discoveryourspiritualgifts.com and on YouTube at Discover Your Spiritual Gifts. You can also send a personal message to Vialet through email, violet@discoveryourspiritualgifts.com. Until next time, remember, we are meant to have abundant and joyful lives. We hope to see you really soon at Discover Your Spiritual Gifts.
Discover connection, awaken sacred